Let's talk about payroll tax withholding. And to this conversation, I want to share with you everything you need to know when you hear the terms payroll tax withholding. So here's an overview I want you to pay attention to. The thing is, let's first define withholding. We all need to have a clear idea what withholding is. The thing is that everything starts from state tax authorities, but also the federal tax authorities, in other words, the IRS. So the IRS requires any business with employees to withhold certain taxes from employees' paychecks, then deposit them with the state and federal entities, right? So federal withholding rates can vary from employee to employee based on the information provided on their W-4 form. But the FICA taxes for Social Security and Medicare are calculated using a set formula for all staffers. So the first step for you to, if you have a business and you're thinking about payroll tax withholding, you need to let the employee know what kind of W-4 form they have to file with you. Okay, so before you actually dive in, though, remember that only about 40% of small business owners handle payroll and all the withholding themselves. And a lot of them, they actually just outsource the whole thing to third-party payroll services, including Gusto, ADP, and so on and so forth. Okay, now when we talk about payroll, we're talking about the withholding, the deductions, the tax filings, and so on and so forth. And it's really important to understand that business owners who rely on a payroll service save an average of 15 hours a month. So there's a large chunk of time you could be saving, you could actually be saving if you were to work with a solution provider. Again, everything depends upon the size of your business, the size of your workforce, because if you have 3 or 4 employees, you might as well just do things yourself. But if you have 2 or 3, if you have 20 or 30, you might want to outsource. Even if you have 2 or 3 or 4, it's always better to actually outsource everything, because you have solution providers that do this all year long. So they have expertise that you may not have. Okay. It's one of those things where it's all about, it's outsourcing versus not outsourcing. So here's the first step. All new employees need to fill out a W-4 on their first day of work. You must receive a completed W-4 form from each employee before payroll is processed so that the correct amount of federal tax is withheld from their paycheck. Complete instructions are included with the form, including guidance for those with multiple jobs or a working spouse. A W-4 should be filled out by all employees when they are hired or whenever their life or financial situation changes. So this is really important. Now, in 2020, the W-4 was revised. The new form has a 5-step process, and the new publication 15T actually basically explains everything, I would say just a little better. So it's one of those things you have to be really, really, really specific about. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. So the first step is you need to require all new employees to actually send your HR department W-4 forms, okay? So step number 2 here, you need to determine gross pay. So you got to calculate your employees' gross wages before determining the amount of taxes that should be withheld. It's one of those things where when we talk about gross pay, there are federal standards, there are also state standards that actually dictate how gross pay should be actually monitored and actually set. And because there are states where you have minimum hourly wage, you have so this is really important for hourly employees. You want to calculate employee base pay by the number of hours worked. For example, 80 hours times $10 per hour will be $800. So overtime hours are typically calculated at time and a half. So 5 hours of overtime, for instance, will be calculated as 5 times 10 times 1.5. So, and that, in this case, we would have $75. So time and a half, 50% more, right? So instead of $10, where you are paying that person $15. So for an employee who works 80 hours plus 5 hours of overtime at $10 per hour, that will make their gross pay $800 plus $75. That's $875. By the way, I'm talking about 80 hours because we are considering you have a payroll that's processed every 2 weeks. So if you go with 40 hours a week, that's 80 hours 80 hours every 2 weeks. So that's for hourly employees. Now let's talk about salaried employees. For salaried employees are paid the same each pay period. So for a twice monthly pay period, an employee making $40,000 a year will receive $40,000 divided by 24 annual pay periods, making their gross wages for the pay period $1,666.67. And then that's the same amount every pay period. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about payroll tax withholding. So the third step here is to calculate federal withholding based on gross pay. Remember, not net pay, the gross pay. So the withholding happens on the gross pay. So once you have an employee's gross pay calculated, you can then determine federal withholding. And so basically, here is the step where the W-4 forms will come into play. So what happens here is that you will look at the withholdings they chose, including any additional taxes that they ask to be deducted, because the employees always has flexibility. So you'll need to access the IRS tax tables for this year in order to calculate everything accurately, or you can use trusted payroll software or a payroll calculator to do the math for you. And please don't try to guess here, because you might get in trouble. You want to really use guidance to actually calculate things. So step number 3, calculate federal withholding based on gross pay. Step number 4, you need to calculate FICA contributions. So you will calculate FICA payroll taxes. FICA is basically a combination of Social Security and Medicare, and both the employer and the employee contribute to them, right? 50-50. So you will basically withhold a total of 7.65%, including 6.2% for Social Security and 1.45% for Medicare. Please note though, employers must withhold Social Security taxes until the employee earns at least $160,200, which is really, and this number actually changes all the time. So this year, the amount was $160,200. And there is no income limitation for Medicare taxes. And so to calculate FICA, you want to use the following for hourly or salaried employees. So for let's say for gross pay of $875, I'm just still using the earlier example. Well, for gross pay of $875, multiply $875 times 6.2%. That's equal to 54.25% for Social Security tax. So that's $54.25. For Medicare tax, you want to multiply $875 times 1.45%, and that's $12.69. So the total FICA to be withheld for this pay period is $54.25 plus $12.69, and that's $66.94. So in addition to Social Security and Medicare taxes, employees who earn in excess of $200,000 will also pay a 0.9% Medicare surtax, which will be withheld from their checks in addition to the other FICA taxes. The next thing you want to do, you want to match employee contributions for FICA. That's step number 5. Again, we're still talking about payroll tax withholding. So step number 1, you want to send out Form W-4. Number 2, determine gross pay. Number 3, calculate federal withholding. Number 4, calculate FICA contributions. Number 5, match employee contributions for FICA. So in addition to withholding FICA taxes from employee wages, employers are also responsible for matching the amount of FICA taxes withheld. So if $66.94 was deducted from your employee, you will need to match that amount and deposit the funds in a timely manner. The IRS is really serious about making sure the funds are deposited in a timely manner, okay? And step number 6 here, you want to calculate state and local taxes. So depending on where your business is located, state and local taxes may also need to be calculated. So don't forget to send those local taxes to the appropriate agency as well. And it's really important to understand that, so the next step, and that's really important, you need to deposit federal, state, and local taxes on time. This is so critical. So tax deposit schedules vary by states, with many requiring a quarterly deposit. So check in with your local agencies to determine what your schedule will be. For the federal government, there are currently 2 deposit schedules, monthly and semi-weekly. So business owners will be notified at the beginning of the year what deposit schedule they need to use. And so whether you process payroll in-house or use a top-notch payroll service provider such as ADP, Gusto, OnPay, or whatever, it's up to you to ensure that taxes are calculated properly and paid on or before their due date. And so businesses that fail to make the timely deposits may be subject to a 15% penalty plus the interest charged on any outstanding taxes due. So it's one of those things where you want to be very, very careful here. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about payroll tax withholding. Let me give you a few pro tips here. So what's the difference between exempt and non-exempt employees? So from W-2 employees to 1099 contractors to hourly and salary-based employees, there's a lot to take into consideration when classifying your workforce, but it's important to make sure that you understand these differences to avoid making payroll mistakes and actually getting on the wrong side of the IRS, okay? So once you have determined that a worker is an employee, not a contractor, there are 2 basic types of employment classifications in the workplace: exempt employees and non-exempt employees. So these terms are defined by FLSA, Fair Labor Standards Act, which specifies that certain employees must receive a minimum wage and also overtime pay when they work more than 40 hours a week. So others are exempt from minimum wage and overtime requirements. So when we talk about those two categories, what's really the test? What's the test for exempt versus non-exempt employees? So you should look at 3 criteria to know whether an employee should be classified as exempt or not. So you have job duties, you have salary basis, and you have salary level. So job duties, if they work in executive, professional, or administrative, managerial, or supervisory roles, their salary basis, if you pay your employees an annual salary instead of an hourly wage, and also the salary level, if they meet the other criteria that are just the other 2 criteria, and you pay them more than $35,568 annually, then they are non-exempt. Okay, so it's really important. So if you want to actually find more specific guidance, the Department of Labor has a specific list of tests and descriptions of the different roles you can apply for different types of employees. And now let's really dig a little deeper here. So when we talk about exempt employee, the FLSA recognizes the following broad categories of employees as exempts. So you have executives, you have professionals, you have highly compensated employees, you have computer analysts, for instance, and you also have outside sales. So anybody who is employed as a computer systems analyst, software engineer, computer programmer, or job performing similar duties is automatically considered exempt. So outside of the standard categories that I just listed, there are a few other areas where employees are commonly classified as exempt. You have computer professionals that are paid at least $27.63 per hour. You have salesmen, partsmen, and mechanics employed by automobile dealerships. You have workers employed by certain seasonal and recreational establishments. You have farm workers who are immediate family members of the employer and are engaged in the production of livestock. You have drivers, helpers, loaders, and mechanics. They are considered exempt if they are employed by a motor carrier and if their duties involve the safety of vehicles in transportation of passengers or property. And you also have commissioned sales employees working in the retail or service industry. They are considered exempt if at least half their earnings are made from commissions, and they make at least 1.5 times the federal minimum wage, which is $7.25 for each hour worked on average. So basically, the whole thing here is that if you're thinking about payroll tax withholding, it's important to really understand that you want to comply with all the laws and regulations in all the jurisdictions where your company operates. And part of that regulatory compliance sort of move is to make sure that you are properly classifying your employees and properly paying them. Because, based on the classification that you have for your employees, the payment will follow depending on whether they work full-time or part-time or overtime and so on and so forth. And so typically, an employee must meet all the standards described by the Department of Labor's test. So please just check always with a tax professional or HR representative if you have any question about how to apply the classification test, or you can just let us know in the comment section. Our team is just ready to is on standby to answer any questions that you may have. And but please, when you reach out to us, you want to let us know your city and state where you are actually asking the question from, because state laws are different based on the state where you are at. In addition, we need to know the legal structure of your business, whether you're a sole proprietorship, whether you are an LLC, whether you are a C corporation, an S corporation. Let us know. So I've just explained to you what an exempt employee is. Now I want to explain to you what a non-exempt employee really is. So unlike exempt employees, most non-exempt workers are paid by the hour and eligible for overtime pay rates at 1.5 times their normal rate of pay for any hours worked above the standard 40-hour work week. And so they are also entitled to the federal minimum wage, so $7.25, so $7.25, the tipped wage minimum, or their state's minimum wage if it's higher. But remember, that's not all non-exempt employees are paid by the hour. So non-exempt status also doesn't limit the number of hours an employee may work in a work week, and applies to employees who are those are at least 16 years of age. So if you have teenagers, they are also considered non-exempt. So overtime pay does not apply to weekends, holidays, or regular days of rest unless overtime hours were worked on those days. So hopefully it's really important to understand that you got to really have a clear idea about the classification you need to follow to actually conduct your payroll tax withholding the proper way. But you got to have that. And what's the important thing I want to mention before closing on today's conversation is that make sure that you follow the deposit schedules. You got to remit the money that federal tax authorities are expecting from your business, and also state tax authorities. It is not your money; it is their money. You actually have already withheld the money from your employees and also added your own contribution. So you got to really make sure that you follow, you stick to the schedule that they've sent you. If you are on a monthly basis, if you are on a bi-weekly basis, if you are on a weekly basis, whatever schedule you have, just make sure that you actually comply with that. And what we have seen in our research here is that it's just a lot better to outsource the whole thing to a third party. I mean, a lot of small business owners, they want to do their own taxes. You can do your own taxes or your own payroll taxes if you are by yourself or you have family members. But if you have more employees from outside, it's just better to outsource the whole thing. It will cost you a little bit, but at least you have peace of mind, and that's what it is, the cost of peace of mind. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I just spoke to you about payroll tax withholding. And let's do a quick recap here. So I give you the overview. And I give you the pro tips also that you need to follow if you were to actually conduct payroll tax withholding. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.